Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Force. I'm David Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to episode 50.
50?
50!
What?
The big L.
The big L. L for love.
Or losers.
Or other things. Yeah.
Yeah. Or...
yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Way to start our milestone episode.
This is fantastic. We were looking it up. Actually, next week is actually our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, man.
So this is basically 50. I guess that would be 52 weeks, but did we miss a week? I don't think
I think we
did miss
we skipped
1 week, I think.
Yeah, with Christmas.
Christmas, that's right. We skipped 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make up the...
Yeah, that would be 52.
That would be 52.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is episode 50. And we got a great show for you here. We got continuing episode 2 month. Mm-hmm. We are going to highlight Sand Hill of the Banking Clan, who was in episode 2, as well as talk about some comics that came out last week, issue 15 of Star Wars, and then issue number 6 of The Star Wars. They actually came on the same week, last Wednesday. We are going to highlight, talk about a little bit of Comic Con from LexCon this past weekend here in Lexington, Kentucky. Great turnout. We had a chance to talk to Tom Kane again.
Hey.
So when we interviewed a couple episodes ago, we got video of that as well. So probably the release of this is not up yet, but it will be up this week. Mm-hmm. So you can check out the video interview of that, because actually the audio interview, we're not going to actually drop that in the podcast until a couple weeks from now, when we talk about the final arc of the final season of the Clone Wars, right? Because Tom offered a lot of insight on that episodes. We're going to talk in depth about that in a couple weeks, because right now, like this week, we're going to talk about the second arc with Clovis and the Banking Clan. That's kind of why we're highlighting Sand Hill to tie that in. And of course, next week we'll get into the third arc, and then that's when the last week of the month we'll get into the Yoda arc. So if you want to see, if you want to hear Tom Kane's interview with us at Comic-Con, LexCon, check that out on a YouTube channel /21 Network. That'll be up this week, and it's real. It's not as long as our audio interview. It's about 10-12 minutes. But and I highly suggest you watch, if you can, the Yoda arc before you watch it or listen to it, because there's a lot of insight. Not really spoilers, but we dive a lot deeper into the episode arc, because it does, as I can't wait till Casey hasn't still seen it yet.
I'm taking my time, yeah.
Because there's a lot of answers, but then there's still a lot of questions. There's that you don't need answered, but we'll talk about it. So we'll get into that. So big, and then whatever news we got, and of course some trivia at the end. But so big episode. The L.
The L.
Number 50. That's gonna be easy to type. Make this episode L. But we thank everybody for listening to us this past year. We've had a great time doing this, and we look forward to doing another 50.
Another 50 episodes.
As we get into Rebels, episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Let's see, by the time we hit 100, episode 7 still wouldn't be.
That's right.
It'd be like a.
But we'll have almost a whole half a season at least of Rebels and more.
Yes.
But surely we'll have some kind of teaser
We'll
trailer.
Yeah, there's plenty we'll talk about. Yeah.
Within the next 50, hopefully. Oh, God. They better do a lot of Comic-Con this year.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay, so let's dive into Sandhill again. We're doing Sandhill, who is the chairman of the InterGalactic Banking Clan, which weighs heavily into the second story arc of the final season of the Clone Wars, which we'll get into after we talk about Sandhill. Sandhill, if you remember in episode 2, he has one line.
One line. No, I'll save it. That'll be the line.
Okay, that would be the line. Okay, I'll save it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he is part of the banking clan. Ends up being part of the separatists under Count Dooku during episode 2. And Sandhill is the chairman of the Intergalactic Banking Clan. He is a Mun, not a Mun.
Mun, M-U-U-N. Yeah, Mun.
And I'm sure you mentioned that. Like, we talked about them in some other capacity, and we called them Muns, right? Because of Plagueis.
Plagueis, yeah.
That's right. So Darth Plagueis.
Here go to Mask. Yeah.
He go to Mask, correct. He, if you go back to when we did Sith Month, he was the first one we talked about because we kind of went in his lineage, and he is a Mun. We called him a Mun then because we never heard it.
Yeah, come on.
Does anybody have? I mean, besides Clone Wars,
I don't know if they've said it on Clone Wars. I don't remember.
No, I think this is the first time they've said it on Clone Wars. Because I was like, what? Immune?
Yeah. We got it wrong.
We've been saying this wrong the whole time.
Stupid.
Samsonite?
Yeah. I knew it was an S. I knew it started with an S. I knew it started with an M. I knew it had an M-U. Yeah. Immune.
So he's a male Mun. Again, chairman of the Galactic Banking Clan. Part of the Separatist during episode 2. So he was born on the homeworld of Munilinst, and that is not where, like we said, that is not where the Banking Clan is stationed necessarily. They have planets.
Yeah.
They have banks and vaults all over the place, but we'll get into later their biggest one. But he is from Munilinst, and he's a Mun. He was born the son of Lars Hill, who was the prior to him the chairman of the Intergalactic Banking Clan. So he was born into the Banking Clan lineage.
Yeah.
As Casey mentioned, Hugo Damask, who as you find out is Darth Plagueis. I guess you don't find that out unless you read the former book, Darth Plagueis. But he was in charge. He was Lars Hill's employer. He was basically the head chairmanship. I mean, he was the
boss man.
He was the boss man. He was the head, and that's what obviously started the whole. Not started, but the part of the contributing factor to the Sith taking control of everything was he was big into the Banking Clan, and then Palpatine obviously grew to be Chancellor. So anyway, as Sandhill was obviously tutored because of his father was actually murdered, assassinated on Coruscant, and because of that, Hugo Damask actually trained Sandhill into becoming, stepping into becoming the head chairman as well of the Intergalactic Banking Clan, and he eventually took that position around 32 BBY, which was episode 1. So that was basically his easy kind of rise into the banking clan. Now, obviously, looking back, all this was kind of, it looks like it was kind of intended.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you learn that even so in this arc that we're going to discuss. So the big thing I wanted to talk about with Sandhill, which was really interesting, and like you said, I'm not sure, it's so hard to remember all these episodes we've done, but when we highlighted General Grievous, now General Grievous, if you go back and listen to that, was it Kalish?
Kalish.
And that is a species, kind of a humanoid species.
Well,
was it not?
I mean, his face was the same. Because that mask that he wears, that's just. I think it was kind of like, I don't want to say insect-like, but they had like arms and legs, and they were kind of like humanoid in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he didn't look like like
No.
Dooku or Anakin. He still kind of looked alien.
But that thing's a mask,
it
right?
is a mask.
Yeah.
It's like a not sacrificial, I think sacrament or whatever of the Kalish. It's like a very warrior thing.
So during a separatist crisis with the Galactic Senate and the Banking Clan on numerous worlds, there was obviously a lot of worlds that fell into debt to the Banking Clans and the Banking Clan, and one in particular was Kali, the world of Kali, and Sand Hill, in a way to, I guess, flex his control, he would take on debts of some worlds in order to get something out of it, obviously. So he volunteered to take the debt of Kali in exchange for the services of a then Kalish warlord, which was Kwame J. Shalil.
There you go.
And using him as basically a soldier in a sense.
Yeah, collector or whatever. Debt and such.
But he kind of, that is basically this Kwame, or what do we call him?
Kalish.
Basically pre-General Grievous.
Yeah.
He went against Sand Hill and basically returned against his wishes back to Kalish, back to Kali, to fight this continuing war that was going on there for his people, which enraged Sand Hill to the sense where he wanted to assassinate him. But he chose not to assassinate him in fear of if something went wrong, he would come basically back and...
Because Kali's like a big warrior. They have a lot of warriors.
That's right. Yes. They do have a lot of warriors. So instead of trying to kill him, they laid out this plan. They, as in Sand Hill, Pago the Lesser, and Count Dooku, all planned to conspire and create something. And what they did was they basically planted a bomb, an ion bomb, on his ship, the Martyr, and basically exploded him, but did not kill him. They pulled Kwame out of the wreckage and basically created a cyborg body. And as we know from
Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars,
Yeah.
I was about to say, what was it about using his blood?
His blood.
Was that from the book?
I think it was originally from the EU. Yes, but they confirmed it.
Yes,
basically in Star
they
Wars.
used the blood from Cypher Diaz,
right,
and injected it into this Kalish,
because they were hoping to transfer Force somehow.
Correct, make him Force sensitive almost, which I guess it would. I mean, technically,
in theory, but maybe it just wasn't enough.
But it wasn't enough, probably. I mean, he's not.
Blood.
Yeah, well, plus I mean, there's not a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough organs to circulate
Correct.
the blood.
Therefore, creating General Grievous,
Yeah.
basically. And like Casey said, the mask, the face of Grievous is actually a mask. Of the Kalish.
Yeah.
But basically, so he is part. He's not a droid. I mean, he's a droid commander, but he's a cyborg. He's a droid. Yeah. I highly suggest go back and listen to our Grievous. You get the whole history of how he basically became this. But you get a lot more about him younger, growing up. But that's the biggest part of the Sand Hill profile, I think, that's very interesting. How
it's basically because of him, Grievous was made Grievous.
That's right. And this was and obviously this was before technically all of basically the war. I mean, this is before he pledges his allegiance to Dooku. You know, I mean, I guess they were because they had a history together. There was a little bit of separatist stuff going on, but basically because of the economies of the worlds. But this clearly was prior to the Clone Wars.
It was, yes. Before Battle Geonosis, all that stuff.
Exactly. So Grievous was out there. I mean, I don't even know. I'm not sure what he was actually doing.
He's probably either being made or just working for the banking clan or something at the time. Because they didn't need it. They didn't need a general for the droid army at this point.
That's right. So then that pretty much leads into Episode 2, Battle Geonosis, and the Clone Wars start. They appoint, obviously that's when they appoint Grievous as head of the droid army as general. And
Bombad general.
Yeah. Okay, so basically that's the real quick thing of Sand Hill. Now it's not shown in the movies, in the movie of Episode 3, but he perishes on Mustafar.
Right.
He's still alive when all that goes down and Vader gets sent there to take out the Separatists.
Yeah.
He is not shown, if you watch the scenes, he is not shown as killed. He is shown in the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because it kind of says it contradicts it a little bit because he's standing next to, in the book, a couple people that you see get killed in the movie. But he is, unfortunately, he is on Mustafar when Anakin comes and Vader comes and kills them all.
You could just assume he dies. I mean, there's that one shot where Anakin turns and you see his eyes, and in the background you see some other characters like cowering.
Yes.
And door shuts, whatever. So I mean, he's probably could have died then. Who knows?
Yeah, because it is pointed out on his profile that he's actually when he's during the Battle of Geonosis, he's fleeing, but his ship gets shot down, and he's stranded there on Geonosis for a while, for several weeks also, and then he eventually gets help by a Captain Rylon or Ricklon. Eventually gets him off Geonosis, and saves him. So, and then from then on, obviously he is basically hidden with being on the board of the independent separatist clan, and while fighting the Clone Wars. So that is Sand Hill.
Sand
Hill again, immune who supports the separatists but gets killed by Vader. All right. Yeah, Poggle the Lesser, he was there too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty sure,
Yeah, they all got killed.
They're dead.
They're all dead. Okay, so this leads us into the second arc of the Clone Wars, of this final season here. Now, the second arc was mainly about Padme helping, but basically it's about her trying to find out what's happening with the funds, and the support, because obviously wars cost money. They need more funds and credits on the Republic side, so she travels to Scipio to
just figure out what's
going on in front of the
trying to keep the peace between the Republic and the banking clan.
And she runs into a familiar face, one that we see. You said was in episode or season 2,
I believe. Yeah. Gosh, I forgot the name of the episode, but yes, season 2, Clovis. He was in that arc in that season.
Rush Clovis.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember exactly that episode, but he was branded almost like a traitor.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of going back and rewatching. I haven't gotten that point yet. But in this arc, obviously he's revealed he's representing the Banking Clan. But overall, so Anakin obviously gets dispatched.
Yeah.
To Scipio as well, because she is in trouble.
Yes.
Because she finds out basically. So obviously, this is spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, but she finds out that there is no money, and Dooku obviously also finds out about this on the Separatist side. But so that's why obviously that's why Dooku goes and he actually gets gets all of Clovis, sets up a plan in motion for that side. Anakin comes in to help because she was fired upon, her life was threatened or whatever. So I don't know how much more we want to kind of reveal, but
yeah, that's good. It's just.
It's a 3-episode arc. There's obviously some jealousy there because Anakin sees Clovis and Padme together. There's a good scene where there's a good scene when Clovis was really pushing Anakin's buttons.
Oh, when they fought?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, the things he was saying too about like you
discovering
can't,
the truth.
Yeah, you can't. What are you doing? You're a Jedi.
Yeah.
You can't do this, and telling her that he's a Jedi. You know, they can't.
If you don't love him, then kiss me or something like this.
It's getting very soap opera-ish.
It was. Well, yeah.
But overall, I mean, extremely good insight into another. I mean. Just like the first arc, where it dealt with Order 66 and the clone trooper kind of failing, you kind of see, again, you kind of get a hint at, but you kind of get a hint at that point. Because if you had not, think about it, if you had not seen episode 3, if you're just watching this from episode 2, that arc with the clone troopers is really throwing you off.
True.
You're like, what is going on?
I didn't even think about that.
Think about that.
I am.
Well, yeah,
I am now.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Like if you really, so if someone sits down and has never seen it, and you watch episode 2, watch the Clone Wars.
Gosh, that makes sense.
And you don't know what's happening. Yeah. You don't know what happens in episode 3.
Yeah, because I'm meeting a lot of kids. Because I work at a school, and we talk about Star Wars. I always talk about Star Wars, and I always ask, like, have you seen the movies? And a lot of them say, no, I haven't seen the movies. I've just seen the TV show. So
really?
Yeah. Wow. And these are like 10, 9, 8-year-olds,
Yeah. See, now, like my daughter, I'll try to get her to watch it in order whenever she gets to understanding it. But yeah, that's crazy to think about when you watch that arc and they're talking about Protocol 66, or because do you remember? Do you realize that they kept saying Protocol 66, and it wasn't until the very end that Sidious says, or Dooku or Sidious says, we got to make sure they do not discover Order 66. It's the first time they said Order at the end. Yeah. So when you first see that and you haven't seen episode 3, it's like. That is crazy. What is going on? They got something, I mean, I guess I don't know if it's too much to think that. Would you put it together like, oh my God, there's an Order 66 that could actually kill the Jedi?
Well, you could put that together because the clone kept saying, "Kill the Jedi," whatever. The mission, kill the Jedi, whatever. But man, to think, I might. When my kids watch everything in order, like movies,
totally,
and stop. Okay, before you move on to episode 3, we're gonna watch all the Clone Wars, and then we're gonna watch episode 3.
I think you have to.
That's a great little twist there, because you're like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to the clones? Like, are they all gonna go bad? Because I don't know about the Jedi Purge and all that.
That's right, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Was you saw at that point the background planned of Sidious and Dooku, and you get that in this as well because. Yeah. There's a plan to this whole Clovis thing and the Banking Clan and the what they're trying to do there. So I don't want to reveal it too much.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next week maybe, but just in case people haven't seen it. But you get that background info on the Sith with these arcs. I mean, it's awesome.
Well, I think you just convinced me now because everybody keeps asking, "Are you gonna make your kid watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3?" Like, I'm gonna make him watch it in order because
I am too.
even the whole like Luke, I'm your father, or just I'm your father, or whatever, how he correctly says it. Even that, I mean, that would still, to me, I feel like that would be an emotional part of the movie. Regardless, you already know that that's his father. But I think from watching it with the knowledge of 1, 2, and 3, you're watching that scene from, I guess, feeling for Luke, like him realizing that Darth Vader, who you know who he is, Anakin Skywalker, like all this is coming. Oh, this is crazy.
Because in the end, once we get 7, 8, 9, I think it is going to be about the generation of kids.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think no matter how great we believe episode 5 is, the reveal, if you don't know, I think it's, like you just said, I think it's equally as important, the fact that you know and Luke doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like, you can still get that feeling that Luke, when Hamill did it. Hell, that's not true. I mean, it's just...
That's like the worst news you can get.
Absolutely. But the story, the story spans 4, 5, and 6. So it's not just him revealing it's Vader. The story is, how do we get Vader how does he get Vader to be good again? So in a sense, that's still the story. And you can watch 1, 2, and 3 and that doesn't spoil the fact of Luke trying to get his father back to the light side.
Right.
So I do believe that the order of someone that hasn't seen it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it's because think about this too. If you don't see 4, 5, and 6, and you see 1, 2, and 3, like, is it possible to? I mean, if you didn't know, would you put together that Sidious is Palpatine?
I think you could, honestly. Just watching 1, 2, and 3, because they don't shy away from it a whole lot. If you are watching carefully, like some of the shots that they do, like, you kind of already get the feeling he's a little corrupt, he's a little weird. But especially at the end of episode 1, I just feel like at the end of episode 1, when Mace is talking to Yoda and saying, like, there's always two, Master and Apprentice, and Mace says, "Well, which one do we kill, the Master or the Apprentice?" And they show a blatant shot of Palpatine.
I get that.
Maybe it's just because I know it, but like, I feel like
if you didn't know,
it's just it's very suggestive. And watching the Clone Wars, they're very suggestive that he is.
Yes, I think bad guy. I think that is a sense. So if you don't watch that, you do get it in the beginning of episode 3.
Yes, pretty.
So by then, I think you should probably know. But in episode 2, you don't get any Sidious until the very end.
Barely even get Palpatine. He's
correct.
Like 2, 3 scenes.
But he's on the Senate floor the whole time, pretty much. Because I remember seeing episode 1 and with a buddy of mine, and he swore to me, he's like, "Palpatine is not. That's not Sidious is not Palpatine." He was convinced there was somebody.
Did he know? He'd seen the originals.
Oh,
right?
no, he's a huge Star Wars fan.
Wow.
Well, he just thought because that was too easy.
Be a twist somewhere.
Yeah, he thought that there was someone else that's going to step in to be. No, he said there was someone else that he thought Palpatine would kill that guy, and then become the Emperor. So he's like, that's not him. That's somebody else. So,
see, what I used to
because
do,
you think about it, like no one knew Sidious. No one knew that name Sidious until episode 1.
Yes.
So,
like when I was a kid, I collected all the toys from episode 1, and I had a Chancellor Palpatine toy, and I had a Sidious toy. And the Sidious toy, he looks in the movie, but he has the hood covering most of his face.
Right.
But you can actually kind of look underneath the hood. It's all plastic, so you can kind of look underneath the hood and see like the eyes and the facial features. And I would compare that to Chancellor Palpatine. Like, they are the same person. I know. I'm not an idiot. Yeah. So, but it's, I mean, I've known people who haven't seen the originals to guess it, but I mean, whatever, good for you. But it doesn't matter. It's not the point.
No, that's not the point.
Yeah,
it's not the point.
But yeah, that arc is really cool. And I think just you see a different side of Anakin, or like more closer to episode 3. He's just kind of a turd. He's just very jealous and just very he really, him and Padme, that's the most we've heard from them too about their marriage in all of the Clone Wars. Like they really talk about, they even have they get really, the tensions are really running thin in their relationship in this arc, and it's crazy. And then Anakin, you see him using the Force more when he and all that stuff when he fights Clovis, and it's more political. It's a more political arc.
It is.
And I actually feel like this might have been a canceled arc from season 5. I don't know, just because, or maybe they just recorded it early because, first of all, the voice of Palpatine is the man who passed before Tim Curry came on.
Oh,
so maybe he recorded his lines early.
Well, that's the thing. Think about it. Well, I know because Tom Kane told me, but they never recorded in order, and they never knew when order. You know what I mean? Like that's why episodes are not in order technically, chronologically either. Not all of them anyway. But because he would record something, and they had, like he even said, when he told us they had scripts all the way through season 8.
Right.
So
and they recorded all season 7.
Correct. So they could have recorded something and then thought, well, we'll just throw it in next season, or it's definitely.
Gosh, I want to just listen to the recordings. Just edit the recordings together.
I know, dude. Make it an audiobook.
Yes.
Jeez.
Gosh, dang it. Or make it all comic books. I don't care. It's
that's
canon.
fine.
So
absolutely. So check out that second arc. Next week we'll talk about the third arc, which involves Mace Windu and our favorite character, Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. There you go.
Very crazy that they threw that in.
It's good. It was good art.
It was good.
Good
There's
good Jar Jar.
another evil character that comes back. Have you watched both?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen that.
There's only 2 episodes of that arc, part 1 and part 2 of the disappearance. So,
that honestly, to me, has some good implications. I thought it was going to...
Well, I love seeing Mace Windu just
go
crazy, man. He's awesome. That is freaking awesome. All right. What we got in news, actually?
News, gosh. There's been a lot of rumors this past week.
Yeah.
And I'm sick and tired of it. I have never come across more rumors for this movie than any other movie, I feel like. Because this past week we had rumors of more casting, of course. The actress who won Best Supporting Actress, Lupita Nyong'o, I can't say her last name. The girl who was in 12 Years a Slave.
Yes.
She won an Oscar. She's been rumored lately to be in episode 7, as well as, I don't think we mentioned it, like 5 other young guys. One was Jesse Plemons, who's been rumored before. A couple of guys from Downton Abbey, I think. But, and there's some rumors about the plot where some people are, the source is saying that the movie's actually going to take place a few years after episode 7. It's going to be, it's just, it's hard to even talk about it because there's just so many. But anyways, just be careful, everybody, with all these rumors out there. It's really getting out of hand. Just, you can read them, but please do not take anything.
No.
More than what the words.
Plus, there's been no news on Rebels lately.
Yeah, the only cool kind of substantial thing is, they're kind of doing some production work up at Pinewood Studios in London. There's been some interesting tweets from a design director for Star Wars toys at Hasbro, Steve Evans. I guess he just took a day or he took some time to walk around the set that they're building in Pinewood Studios, and he's tweeted a few things based off his experience. And one of the tweets, the earliest one, came from February 26th. It just says, "One more sleep before my visit to Pinewood Studios tomorrow." Then the next tweet, or the tweet corresponding to this, was, "What a day on the Star Wars set. Met J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, and the legend Lawrence Kasdan." So Kasdan, I guess, is very heavily involved, as we've heard. And then the most kind of interesting tweet says, "I met someone in the bathroom while on the episode 7 set. Casting rumors abound." So I guess he shared a bathroom with someone who's in episode 7 that has yet to been revealed. Who's on the set right now
in London?
Correct, yeah, in Pinewood. So
Benedict Cumberbatch.
There you go. Yeah. So that's and he says that we'll know soon enough, kind of that rumor which we have talked about. But other than that, there's there's nothing substantial. Everything's
Right.
just very rumor, very conjecture. Nothing good.
Nothing good. Okay, so let's go to comics real fast here. Why don't you talk about the Star Wars number 6? I didn't actually read it. I don't care if you spoil it because I've kind of lost interest in it.
Yeah. Well, again, it's still not doing too well. I think now with this issue 6, they're getting into the episode 6 era because there's a part here where they go to this planet. It's like a forest planet, and they're Wookiees, but it's kind of mixing the Wookiee with the Ewok kind of time where Leia gets isolated and founded by the Wookiees or whatever, and it's just really strange. And Owen Lars makes an appearance, but it's a totally different character. It's not like it's Luke's uncle. It's just a different Owen Lars. The Wookiees look more like Sasquatches. It's interesting still just to see the similarities between the movies, but I just don't like the storytelling. I just don't like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm coming to the conclusion that these characters, probably the biggest problem for me is that these characters don't act human. They don't really. The verisimilitude, or whatever how you say it, is kind of off. These characters just kind of are one end or the other. They're just all over the place, I feel like. There's no logic sometimes in their choices or even how the story progresses. No, the characters just don't seem lifelike to me. I think that's my biggest problem. But it's a sci-fi. It's interesting in some regards. But this issue, we even get like a little cameo, I think, of Boba. Like there's like a weird, of some bounty hunters. There's Forlom, I think. There's like a Forlom character in... Excuse me. Whoa. And there, so it's like a weird looking kind of Boba character. Like I'll just kind of show it to you really quick, but
Right.
So that's about it.
Yeah.
Not much to this issue. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
See, you're allergic to it.
I'm not. Can't even look at it. There's dander in the pages.
But the comic to talk about is number 15 here.
Correct.
Of Star Wars. Fantastic storyline going on here. We're starting a new arc here. Leia has come back from her big solo mission. And now I guess this whole thing started with them trying to find a new rebel base.
Right.
And now they have come into agreement. They have come to the planet. I want to say it's called Orochar.
Okay. Go for it.
And on Orochar, the only way, basically, to make it a safe haven and a new base for the Rebel Alliance, Leia has to marry the prince. So it's basically a cover in a sense. Right. But obviously, I think the prince really wants it to be
for real.
Real.
Yeah.
And it obviously, I think it is real. I think it has to be real, even though so basically she's willing to marry this guy in order to create a base and a safe haven for the Rebel Alliance. Obviously, that creates some major feelings with not only Han Solo, but a Luke Skywalker that seems very jealous.
Well, I mean, at this point, he's in love with her.
That's right. So again, very strong writing in this. Very
it sets up a lot.
It does.
Not a whole lot happens, but it sets up a lot. There's a lot of good, interesting kind of conflicts starting to arise.
And of course, Stephanie Creedy is the illustrator on this thing. It's so well drawn.
Yes.
Brian Wood still writing it. He's just been so awesome with this.
Yeah.
Some great shots in this. A lot of X-Wings with Rogue Squadron going on.
Yeah, that
now.
was a cool sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the first test run, I guess, with Rogue Squadron.
Yes. But I won't reveal it too much, but the final panels, man, are just awesome.
Yeah.
With Luke. So anyway, this continues to be a fantastic book. I would still highly recommend picking this up. You this is only going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
We haven't heard any word yet, but I hope that he keeps. I don't know if necessarily keeps this book going, but I hope Brian Wood keeps doing Star Wars after the whole transition to Marvel.
I hope it's made canon too.
I agree, and obviously I think they're obviously going to be looking at that story group and all that stuff.
I think it'd be cool to get that in a animated movie.
Yeah,
just like a little 2D animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so a little bit about LexCon.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you weren't able to make it. I spent I'm trying to get this dang book in here. I spent the weekend at LexCon in Lexington, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, we were able to talk to Tom Kane once again. He had a booth there both days, Saturday and Sunday. Now, the con is actually a 3-day thing. Friday it opens, but it's only open Friday to VIPs. They allow pre-bought VIP passes. The Friday night opens around, I think it's at 6 or 7, and they allow them in to walk the floor, and the guests are there. This year they had some great guests. They lined the back wall pretty much with all the major guests, and we're talking about like William Shatner, George Takei,
Lou Ferrigno,
Nichelle Nichols, Lou Ferrigno, Melissa McBride from The Walking Dead, who plays Carol. She had a 2.5 hour line to see her. And what I heard from people walking the con and being there, she was a fantastic person to meet. Mm-hmm. Really gracious. Talked about the show a lot. You had I don't know why they were on that back wall, to be honest, but like the Revenge of the Nerds guys.
Oh, Skolnick
and Booger.
Yeah. Booger's he's still doing some work.
He does a lot of comedy, I think, too.
Yeah.
And stuff, but
he's been in
the Skolnick guy.
He's in that TV show, isn't he?
Yes, he's on that TV show now. Yeah,
King,
he's doing
King of the Nerds.
Yes, so he was there for that. I heard he was a really mean guy, though, too. I heard he wasn't a very polite guy. So anyway, but then you had guys like Tom Kane, Star Wars people. I mean, Tom Kane, Daniel Logan was there, Tim Rose, who was Admiral Akbar, Ralph Brown, and then his name escapes me. The guy played Dak. Was there as well. And then you had other mainly like Power Rangers people there, former Power Rangers. And then you had some comic book artists who we talked to for our podcast In the Comics. Robert Venditti, who's writing Green Lantern. You had Tim Seeley, who is going to be the artist on Batman Eternal, coming out on a weekly series starting next month. So we got talks. We have interviews with them. But Tom Kane was gracious enough to let us sit in with him and talk to him. We're not going to play that interview, like I said, till a couple weeks from now when we talk about the Yoda arc. But I wanted to mention that we did get him to sign a Yoda figure. And this is a Yoda figure from Star Wars Attack of the Clones. It's an Attack of the Clones figure, basically. It came out in 2002.
Okay.
So it's a pretty older. I mean, it's 12 years old.
Yeah.
But it's Yoda. It's got. And I'll tweet this out on Inside the Force. But anyway, he was gracious enough to sign that as a giveaway on our podcast. So we are going to give this figure away. In order to get it, you have to send us an email. Go to InsideTheForce.com. If you go down to the bottom, the email is info@InsideTheForce.com. Send us an email. Just put the subject in there or something like that. Yoda figure giveaway, or you want the Yoda figure. We'll get those emails together. You can also enter by tweeting us at Inside the Force. So send a tweet to at Inside the Force. Say, Tom Kane sweepstakes or something like that, or giveaway or something like that. Yoda giveaway. and we'll gather all those in. 2 weeks from now, when we reveal the interview and talk about that, we'll announce who is getting that figure.
Cool.
So that's all you got to do. Free figure with Tom Kane's signature on it. It's pretty cool. And then, of course, like I said, we'll get the interview. You can go to our YouTube channel, /21 Network, here this week to listen to that interview. And then you can, if you want to wait to watch the arc and hear us talk about it, and then we'll get Tom's insight. That'll be on in a couple of weeks. Other than that, the con was huge. I think they had somewhere around 15,000 people last year. This year, they pretty much doubled. I think it was around 29,000 people.
Dang.
I mean, just Saturday was ridiculously packed. I mean, and they had so many cosplayers walking around. Great costumes. Our buddy Chad, part of the network, his friend Katie, who he went with, dressed up as Ms. Marvel. And she's kind of a cosplayer. She goes to a bunch of cons. And she has been to a lot of smaller ones and bigger ones, but she even said, this is her first trip here, she even said, by far as you're talking about like non-big city cons, that this had the most cosplayers she's ever seen. And it pretty much, I mean, there was obviously, plus two, there was a lot of 501st people there.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of stormtroopers, you had a lot of guys in the scout trooper stuff, you had a lot of Boba Fett's bounty hunters. You had a lot of those guys walking around. But you also had just a ton of I saw a couple guys with the Constantine look, just the trench coat, you know, the tie.
That's easy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it was cool looking.
Yeah.
They had fake cigarettes, in their mouths. Like I said, she was Ms. Marvel, and then you had a lot of Batgirls, you had a lot of Huntresses. You had a lot of Catwomans.
A lot of Banes.
Ton of Banes. There was one guy I saw him kind of at a distance, and I only saw him because he was probably like 6'5", but he had the bald head Bane. I mean, he looked like Tom Hardy, I'm telling you. He was awesome. And there's a couple of smaller guys that had the Bane outfit going on, which is kind of funny. But yeah, you had I didn't see too many Batmans. It was weird because this one guy had the Bat Kid as a grown-up. You know what I mean? Like the padding.
Yeah.
He intentionally looked like he was
like
Bat Kid.
Howard Express type costume or whatever. Like just like a...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it looked like exactly like Bat Kid, except an older man was wearing it, a big guy. So there was that. There wasn't a really good Batman outfit, at least I didn't see.
Yeah.
But it was really good. It was really cool to see this Lexington have all these geeks, and
can't wait for it to get bigger.
I know. And they've already talked about expanding to upstairs next year because the convention center is 2 floors, partially 2 floors. So they got a lot more convention room up there.
Every year, right? Every year.
Oh, yeah, they already booked it for next year, yeah.
I'm glad we have something local.
I know, right? It is really good. It is really nice to be able to just drive down the street and go to Comic-Con. Now, the next step, I think, in order to make this thing, nationally known.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can get there. I don't know if you can get there this way, but what separates this con from, San Diego Comic-Con or even C2E2 or Dragon Con or South by Southwest, New York Comic-Con, any of these big ones, what separates them is exclusive content.
Yeah.
If you can, reveal a trailer here, reveal, I don't know, even a first, like if they would have got a pre-screen of Captain America, I mean,
that's absolutely how it could get bigger.
That's the only way that's how you make that next step. Because right now, you're getting better guests, but you're still, unfortunately, getting the guests that are kind of past their prime. You know what I mean? You're not getting Chris Evans here. You're not getting Chris Helmsworth or Christian Bale. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And those guys, I don't even know if those guys do cons.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Chris Evans does actually, but like I'm surprised like a Sam Witwer wasn't here, or guys that are currently in the mix. You know, like Sam was supposed to be here for Scarefest, which is a horror convention that's getting really big here that are in during September's, but he couldn't make it because of filming Being Human. So that is the next step. I mean, you got Tom Kane. To me, Tom Kane was a big attraction.
Yeah.
Because he is currently working on Clone Wars, and he's a constant worker. I mean, every day he's doing voice stuff. But you got guys to be honest, like Daniel Logan, who I was trying to talk to, which we couldn't line that up. But other than the Clone Wars, he hasn't really done much. In episode 2, obviously, but and you got a lot of Power Ranger people that are kind of not doing that anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
Carol, that's why I think Melissa McBride was such the biggest star there, because she was everybody knows her right now.
Yeah.
You have to have that. You have to get those people. That's why I think Louisville. You mentioned Louisville's got a con coming, I think.
Yeah.
Now I found out that con. So just to let you know, if you're in Kentucky, in Louisville Comic Con is in 2 weeks, and that is actually it's like sponsored by, but or run by Wizard.
Yeah.
So they obviously have a ton of guests. You want to talk about? I think Norman Reedus is going to be there from Walking Dead.
Manu Bennett from Arrow.
Yes, the guy. His name escapes me. The guy who played Herschel.
Oh yeah.
Will be there. There's a huge guest list.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's the next step. Getting those current guests. See, that's like right now. Yeah, if you could have lined up someone from Arrow, someone from Marvel, Shield, anybody. I don't know.
Gotham.
Yeah, Gotham. I don't know. I mean, and I'm a little disappointed, just because I'm into that world now of comics, that they still haven't. Robert Venditti. See, Robert Venditti was a huge get, but a lot of people don't know Robert Venditti,
Right.
because they're not either reading Green Lantern, or he rebooted Exo Manowar for Valiant, which is a huge book going on right now. And he's about to start writing Flash in a couple months. So I walked by Venditti on Saturday afternoon and talked to him, and no one was talking to him.
Yeah.
I mean, that the one part about Lexington, I think, is that it may be into movies and TV shows. It's not highly in the comics around here. And you really got to devote yourself to that if you really want to know who these guys are. Because I admit, when I got into the New 52, I knew Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't know who Scott Snyder was.
Right.
Actually, no one really knew who Scott Snyder was at that point until Batman, but he had done a lot of stuff before that. So unless you're really hardcore into comics, you don't really know these people. And, they had some good names there, but again, it seemed like the comic part of Comic-Con there was very small.
That's how it's been, I think, for the last... Since San Diego got really huge with all these Marvel movies. It seemed like the comic side has gone down.
But, I follow a lot of them on Twitter, and like New York Comic-Con still, a lot of the big names go there, because obviously they have studios there.
That's where DC's there.
Well, one of DC's there. They're in both, but so is Marvel. But see, most of them work in New York, so they can just walk down the street and go to Comic-Con. But like big guys like Jim Lee and Jeff Johns and Scott Schneider and you can just look Grant Morrison, all those guys. They go right down the street to Comic-Con there, and they're able to be there. So I don't know what it would take to do that. I don't know. I applaud the guy that I can't remember his name either, but I applaud the guy who started Lexington Comic-Con. He's in 3 years he has just exponentially grown this thing to where it is now, and he's getting there. I think 5, 6, 7 years from now, who knows? It could be one of them things where it's showing exclusive content. I think I don't know. Maybe it hurts a little bit that it's so early in the year because
we have a lot of May releases.
Yeah,
Like you said,
But
Captain
May
America.
is still a couple months, though. Still,
Yeah.
you're not going to get anything that exclusive, I don't think. Captain America being only a couple weeks away, I think you could have maybe one day been able to land something like that. But, the big movies, aren't until May, June, July, August. But then you're competing with the San Diego Comic Cons and the Dragon Cons and the C2E2. C2E2, I think, is in April. So New York Comic Con, I think, is in July. So you're really competing with that. So it is probably best to do it now versus then. But anyway, I'm kind of getting long-winded on that. But it's a good little thing if you're in surrounding Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee. I think it's a good thing to come to and check out. It's the hotels are reasonable here if you're coming from out of town. So there's hotels downtown, so you can you can check it out really easily. So it's definitely a good event to come and see. I would highly suggest it. So, all right, Case, anything else before we get into
Nope.
finally wrap this episode 50?
50 is large episode.
Yep.
It's L episode.
All right, so we got to do something with the number 50 in it.
Okay. What's our range?
I think it's. Here, I'll tell you.
Is there a 50 in there?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. 419
Yes.
to we're at episode 2, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
419 to taking too long here. To 834.
Whoa.
So 550?
550.
550.
550.
All right, here we go. 550.
I'm sick and tired of these.
Yeah, so the record is 31-19. Me, Casey is 27-23.
Yeah.
Here it is, 550. Who was Owen Lars's mother? I don't think we ever heard the name, right?
I have a guess.
Owen Lars.
I have a guess.
So wait a minute. So that's his former wife, right?
What are the answers? Let's see.
Okay. A.
Yes.
Aka.
Yeah.
B. Ayla. C. Ada. Or D. Annika.
I'm surprised they didn't put Shmi in there to throw you off.
That's true.
Okay, so yeah, this is going to be a total guess. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah,
we never know.
He never says because he marries Shmi, and that's all we know. We don't know about anything about his wife prior. So this is
EU stuff.
This is Klieg Lars' wife, right?
Yes.
Owen Lars' mother. So yeah. So you want to see the names at all?
Let's take a look at the names. Okay.
This is a total guess.
So, Aka, whatever. Ayla or Ayla.
Or Ada.
Ada.
Or Annika.
Annika. Ika, Ayla, Ada, Annika.
They obviously made them sound the same to throw you off, but I don't even know where you would hear this.
If those who maybe know this, yeah.
It might have been in the novelization. I don't know. Of episode 2.
Probably.
I read it, but I don't remember it.
I gotta guess.
I'm going through. I don't think it's Annika.
No.
So it's A, B, or C.
I'm going with B or C.
You're going B or C?
Let me think. So it was Ayla or Ada.
Ayla or Ada? Okay.
Let's go with Ayla.
You're going B?
Sure.
Ayla?
Yeah.
I'm actually going A. Aka.
Okay.
Just because I don't know why.
Well, because you're only gonna get it right.
Okay, I'll select B for you. Here we
Okay.
go. Incorrect.
Is that freaking A?
It is A.
Of course it is. See, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Get bad guesser.
I don't know why. I just thought the K. I don't know. I thought.
Well,
I figured K was. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of K's. I don't know in the Star Wars universe. I don't know.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb. All right, thanks. That's our episode 50.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody listening this past year. Hope you've learned some stuff. from different characters. We're going to keep highlighting people. Continue episode 2 month next week, where we connect the profile of whoever we're going to talk about with the next arc of the final season 6 of the Clone Wars. Check that one out. We'll talk about that and review that. It's only 2 episodes with Mace Windu and Jar Jar Binks. We're going to talk about the Yoda arc the following week to wrap up episode 2 month. If you want this Tom Kane signed Yoda figure, like I said, tweet us at Inside the Force or email us info@InsideTheForce. Just let us know you want this figure. We'll announce the winner in a couple weeks. Again, issue 15 of Star Wars is out now. Issue 6 of The Star Wars, which I think is only 2 more issues of that. I think it's 6 of 8. Okay. All right, so that'll do it. We'll see you next week for episode 51 for Casey Cooley.
The Banking Clan will sign your treaty. Whatever.
That's the one line.
The one line
that he has, Sandhill.
Banking Clan will sign your treaty.
That's right. And he did.
He did. He did.
Did.
Probably because of what happened in that arc. I mean, I think the Banking Clan didn't really have a whole lot of separatist ties because they were neutral.
Well, that happened before the arc. He said that before the arc.
Oh, he did. Episode 2. Correct. Okay. Just kidding. Just delete.
But you knew the Banking Clan was.
Yeah, they had some
with the separatists then. And that's how they had to hide it. Anyways. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm at DCottingham21 on Twitter. Casey is at Kryptonium1138. We are at Inside the Force, InsideTheForce.com. Listen to all the episodes right there. Subscribe to iTunes and our RSS feed. We are on Stitcher and TuneIn Radio on your apps. You can get those apps on your iPhones or your Androids. Major. We're everywhere.
Yeah. Can't turn around.
Thank you guys for listening. For Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.